Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 has some of the most recognizable and iconic cars in the franchise. But is every car in the Blacklist roster really that good? The Blacklist boss cars are all heavily modified and have bespoke liveries, but are all of them heroes or some of them zeros? Well, on this episode of Car Topics Explained, I, the Racing Joker, will be ranking 18 of the most iconic cars from this game to figure out which ones truly are the best. So how will this work? Well, I've come up with 3 criteria to grade the cars on: performance, style, and the character associated with them. Each criteria gets a maximum score of 15, leading to a maximum total possible of 45. So, will your favorite car be in the top 5? Let's find out. In the number 18 spot, we've got Blacklist 7. K's CLK 500. I freaking hate this thing. The performance score is 3 out of 15 because it's simply just awful. It's kinda cool but not great looking, so 7 out of 15 for the styling. K's has a neat aesthetic though, so she gets a 10 out of 15. Maybe I'm just a simp. Overall though, it gets an abysmal total score of 20 out of 45. Sell this thing if you ever happen to get her pink slip and get it out of my sight. In the number 17 spot, we've got Blacklist 11, Big Lou's Mitsubishi Eclipse. I give the performance a score of 5 out of 15, but still it's just a polished turd. A pretty turd though, so I'll give it a style score of 11 out of 15. The character of Big Lou is embarrassing and cringy at best though. His bio basically describes him as a manho and a coward who runs away from races and cops. So he gets a score of 5 out of 15, and honestly, he deserves that score also just for getting an escort from a couple of bright orange stock Eclipses. Like, what's the deal with that? Total score is 21. In spot number 16, we got Blacklist 2, Bowles SLR McLaren. Performance is pretty good, so 9 out of 15 on that. Style is 6, because while the SLR is a special thing, this is Need for Speed, and dude, your car looks stock. And I'll give 7 out of 15 for the character of Bull because he is fairly iconic, and he plays a decent role in the intro, which does make him pretty recognizable and memorable. But also, how does a dude with an SLR Mercedes not have a higher rank on the Blacklist than a guy with a 4.6 Mustang? Oh well. Total score, 22. In spot number 15 out of 18, we got Blacklist 14. Taz's Lexus IS 300. 6 for performance, but that kind of makes sense since he's the second official boss of the game, I guess. 9 for style because I do like gold Lexuses, though that's more of a personal thing, so I guess I'm biased. Might be a little crass, but hey, sue me. I like gold. I'll give the driver a score of 8 because while he does look like a discount Twilight vampire, his theme song is Blinded in Chains, which is awesome. So he gets a total score of 23 out of 45. Not bad, Taz. Not great, but not bad. In spot number 14 out of 18, we've got Blacklist 15, Sonny's Volkswagen. Performance is 3. Sorry, Kuru, I'm not a sorcerer. I can't take advantage of performance that doesn't exist. I can't summon victories with this thing out of, a pentagram or something. I don't know how you do it. Style, though, 13 out of 15, for sure. This is most definitely one of the most iconic cars from the roster. Also, check out Blacklist Dan's build of it on Instagram, by the way. Just random shout. He's making the body kit for it from scratch. As for the driver, gotta be 8. He's the first boss, so he's pretty memorable. Sonny's VW gets a total score of 24 out of 45. In the number 13 spot, we've got Ronnie's Supra. Not an actual Blacklist car, but still pretty memorable for obvious reasons. It's one of the first cars you race against while you're still driving the M3 GTR at the start of the career campaign. I'd give the style and performance both 7s. Nothing super special about it, but it's not awful. But I will give the character of Ronnie an 11 out of 5 because he's got some of the best and most memorable lines and scenes in the entire game. Ronnie's Supra gets a score of 25 out of 45. In spot 12 out of 18, we've got Blacklist 8, Jules Mustang. The performance of this car actually surprised me, so 8 out of 15. For style, I'd give it an 8 as well. The body kit is pretty sick. I'm not sold on the livery though, in terms of the intricate details, because, well, driving a car with someone else's name on it is like having a tattoo of your ex's name, but you've broken up. Obviously, because they're an ex. Driver, I'd give a 10, just because I guess she isn't as embarrassing as some of the previous folks. In spot 11 out of 18, we've got Blacklist number 5, Webster's Vet. The performance is pretty good, so I'd say 9. The design of this car is super sick, so I'll definitely give it an 11. The driver, however, is described as a pencil neck who loiters around people's shops, so I guess he gets an 8. The total score for him, though, is 28 out of 45. In spot number 10 out of 18, we've got Blacklist number 12, Izzy's RX-8. This car is an underrated powerhouse, so I definitely give it a performance rating of 10 out of 15. The livery is super iconic, so I'd give it a 12 out of 15 for style. Driver, though, 7, I guess. Overall, though, it gets a total score of 29 out of 45. In spot number 9, we've got Raj's Pontiac GTO. I'm going with his GTO rather than his Mustang that you see in some of the promotional material. Also, fun fact, in some of the promotional material, you can see that he was Blacklist number 16 at one point. But instead, in the final game, he's just our buddy who respects and helps us with info. Anyways, I'd say his GTO gets a 7 out of 15 for performance, because I don't really know a whole ton about it, but it's not an awful car. 8 for style, because even though it's a simple look, I think it works pretty well. And since Raj is a cool dude, he gets a character score of 15 out of 15, since he sussed out Mia before anyone else, and his voice is actually pretty recognizable. Total score, 30 out of 45. Pretty good. In spot number 8 out of 18, we got Blacklist 10, Barron's Porsche Cayman. Man, some of you swear by this car, but I guess it's just not my cup of tea. Performance, though, is undeniable, so 14 out of 15. The livery is really cool, too, so 10 out of 15 for style. And Barron himself gets a 7 because his bio video is just kinda lame. Total score, though, is 31 out of 45. In spot number 7 out of 18, we got Blacklist 13, Vic's Toyota Supra. Man, I steal this dude's car every chance I get. I will save scum my file just to ensure I get it. 9 out of 15 for the performance. It's not that bad of a car. Nothing special, but it's got potential. 13 out of 15 for the style, though. This car looks freaking sick. 10 out of 15 for Vic himself, because he's a cool kind of stereotypical tough macho dude, I guess. And he's the key to getting into Camden, one of the first areas you unlock in Need for Speed Most Wanted. Total score is 32 out of 45. In spot number 6 out of 18, we got Blacklist number 3, Ronnie's Aston Martin DB9. This car is pretty freaking cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be tempted to use a DBS or a V12 Vantage S and replicate this car in some way if I had the money. 9 out of 15 on the performance because it's not as good as it looks, but it does look good. So for style, I'll give it 14 out of 15. And Ronnie, again, he gets an 11 because he's just iconic. Total score, 34 out of 45. All right, we're in the top 5. Let's see what we got. The top 5 highest ranked cars in Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. In spot number 5, we got Razor's Mustang. This car is the iconic rival to the BMW M3 GTR, even though it could only win a race if the M3 was tampered with. We'll never forget its iconic livery, and some of us will never forget the pain of trying to replicate it and realizing his livery was a bespoke version of one of the flame decals that was available to us. So with that said, I'd give it a 7 out of 15 for performance, nothing crazy, but 15 out of 15 for style because it is simply unforgettable. And Razor himself gets a 13 out of 15 for character rating because while he is one of the most, if not the most iconic characters in the franchise, he did cheat, so he loses a couple points. I gotta be fair. I guess. So total score, 35 out of 45. In the number 4 spot, we got Blacklist number 6, Mings Gallardo. This thing is, well, it's overpowered. I always make a point to steal it from him because you can't lose in it. Ever. It comes equipped with all ultimate parts, I'm pretty sure, save for maybe the Pro Nitrous, meaning it has parts on it you haven't even unlocked yet at that point in the game when you get it. The Gallardo gets a performance score of 15 out of 15. And I would say it also gets a style score of 14 out of 15, just because I like the two-tone style of the livery that complements the lines of the car. And the driver, well, I'll give him a 9. Technically, it wasn't even his car, if I remember correctly. I think he won it in a race, which is kind of, you know, it fits with the canon, so it's not crazy. Total score, though, is 38 out of 45. In the number 3 spot, we got Blacklist number 9, Earl's Evo. This car and the dude driving it are simply a menace. When you think Most Wanted and rubber banding, you're likely going to think of this jerk and his car, which is so fast it may as well be a force of nature. Overall though, one of the most iconic boss cars in the franchise, not just in this game. So performance? Yeah, 15 out of 15. What am I supposed to say? Because whether he's driving it or you are, it's a strong car. Style is 10 out of 15. And the driver is 15 out of 15 because I'm pretty sure many people are on blood pressure medication thanks to him. Total score, 40 out of 45. In the number 2 spot, we've got Blacklist number 4, JV's Dodge Viper. This car is sexy, and I'm not even a Viper guy. The dark pearl green with the black stripes, this thing is prettier than most SEMA builds. And even though it's a video game, I should mention that it runs too. And it's fast as heck. Driver's pretty cool too. I like his bio music, that, and I think his afro makes him look cool, but that's just me. I think afros are kind of cool. Performances, 15 out of 15. Those who know. Style, 15 out of 15. I think I've made my point. In my opinion, you gotta be blind not to love the way this car looks. And JV himself gets a score of 12 out of 15, so total score, 42 out of 45. And finally, in the number 1 spot, the BMW M3 GTR. Whether you like it or not, this car is the most iconic car of the Need for Speed franchise. From the blue and silver livery to the sound of the engine and the straight cut gears, this car changed the game, no pun intended, for many car enthusiasts. Which is why I'm building an M3 GTR in real life. Not with the Most Wanted livery, I don't want to get your hopes up, but still, this car is what inspired me. So performance and style, easy. 15 out of 15 for both. And Razor himself, since it's really his car in this game, he gets a score of 13 out of 15 because while, again, he is awesome, he cheated. So the M3 GTR gets a final score of 43 out of 45. Thanks, Razor. You took our perfect score away from us. I suppose you could say 45 out of 45 if you guys were driving it, because you guys are that cool. There we go. I know it's kind of obvious that the M3 was going to be in the number 1 spot. I know some of you might even think it shouldn't be there. But before you start questioning my ranking and criteria in the comments, check out this video where I talk about the M3 GTR, and hey, the video's got 1.5 million views, so I think I might be onto something.